Hey everybody, welcome back to another Copic Colors challenge. Today I am working on a new piece. We've got 3 colors this time. We're working with R22, E27, and E13 for February. So right now, as you can see, I am inking a piece I've already drawn of the Kingpin. So this piece I drew, I think Joel was doing it at work. I was kind of bored and I really wanted to have this itch to draw the Kingpin. So I had this piece just laying around, and I just hadn't had a chance to actually work on it again. And I thought, okay, well, Kingpin is an original Spider-Man villain, so I might as well add him to the list and put him for the Copic challenge for this year. So yeah, I just had, like I said, I had that piece ready to go, so I might as well just use it to my advantage. So right now, yeah, I came up with this idea to have him in like really extreme lighting, so it's really dramatic. There's the one light source coming from his right side, and then the main light source is on his left. So you'll see how I color that in a bit. A lot of his design is actually based off of, not from Vincent D'Onofrio, it's actually off of King Kong Bundy. He's a old school wrestler from the 80s. He's a really big, really gnarly looking dude. And I just thought, just the way he looked, I think matched how I've always envisioned the Kingpin to look like. Just monstrous and intimidating. Thought it really worked. Not saying that Vincent D'Onofrio wasn't intimidating. It wasn't. He's a great Kingpin. I don't think you can get any better ever again. So they have a really tall task if they're ever gonna bring him back. But I went for my own thing. I didn't want to do anything that had a likeness for this piece. Just wanted to go on my own, go nuts with it. And now the one thing I've been working on a lot lately is working on ears. That's one of the pieces that are part of anatomy that I've always had. It's not that I had trouble with, I just kind of skipped putting details into it. I just put the one line, put the hole in. That just sounds fucking weird. Put the hole in. But I've been working on it. I've played around with anatomy of the ear, so this one looks a little bit more realistic. As you saw, I was putting in the blacks just so I knew where to go, where to put them, so I wouldn't color places where I didn't need to color, where it'd waste time. And then yeah, I had to draw a rose almost from scratch because I didn't know. Of course, I'm not gonna know how to draw rows off the top of my head. Got a lot of different folds for his lapel flower. That's more in tune with how the comic books works. I don't remember him having a flower on his suit. He mostly just wore those cufflinks, and I wasn't gonna draw cufflinks for this piece. Alright, so now we're gonna jump into getting the colors. So it's weird, the way the camera picked up, like this red CR22, it looks kind of like a peach, so it doesn't look as stark as it usually would with when you just look at it with your bare eyes or with your own eyes, kind of thing. So I want that harsh light, that harsh red light on the one side, which is kind of good the way this thing is looking, because my original idea for these colors was gonna do Carnage. I was gonna use that red for the main part for Carnage being red, and then I was gonna use this dark brown, the E27, for like that oily symbiote looking stuff, and then use the E13, the skin tone, and kind of do like a half face kind of thing. So you can see part of Cletus Cassidy, and then have Carnage. But the way this thing looks, like I think the red is not deep enough, so it looks like a skin tone. So it actually works better for Kingpin than it actually would for Carnage. So that was a happy little accident. So right now I'm doing the E13 for a skin tone. It's a lot of surface area to cover, so I think I have 2 E13s, so I was able to switch back and forth from those ones just to kind of not dry out the ink too much. It's probably me switching. So I also put a little bit of E13 in with the shades just to kind of give it a little bit of tone. As you can see, there's a little bit of a differentiation there. So I get just coloring in the rose while I'm pretty sure while I'm waiting for the E13 to kind of resettle. I think I just had a brain fart there. So yeah, so it's yeah, while I was saying it was based more on the comic books, it's definitely based off of probably my favorite Daredevil story, The Man Without Fear. That's probably one of the best pieces of comic book literature you can get. It should be on the top 10, top 15, whatever. It should be on a top something list of comic books. It's Frank Miller, John Romita Jr., some of my favorite creators you could find. It's yeah, it's a lot of it. If you love the Daredevil show, you'll see a lot of similarities between that story and that TV series. Well, as you can see right here, I was thinking about blocking out the harsh light in white, and then I totally just scrapped it. It didn't look good as I was working on it, so I just thought, okay, I'll just take it and just color the whole thing, and maybe I'll just add some. At this time, I was thinking, no, I can add some whites with a pencil crayon. That'll do the trick. And that part is filled out. Add a little bit more just for some texture. And the darks, just get the shadows in. That's the one thing I know I'm hesitant on, is using a lot of darks, just because it may look too muddy, especially with something like this. Especially over, you can see that double chin. I didn't put any blacks in there, so I just thought I'd have the harshest part of the shade be him. Like, I'm sure I can put a lot more of the E27 around his brow, around his head, but I was being a chicken, so I didn't do it. I didn't want to risk ruining the piece with just too much darkness. And I did have a reference piece. I was able to do that and show the colors or the shade properly. So I don't know if the Copic challenge, this is cheating by using a black, but I mean, I used blacks for the inking, so I didn't think, okay, it shouldn't be a problem. And it's not like there's official rules on how this works. Just have to create a piece using the 3 colors that they said to use. So yeah, I got a little bit nuts with the black. I wanted to make it feel like he's engrossed in darkness, and it helps to cover up his suit. He's all nice and clean, and then the blacks really show a staticky kind of urgent menace to him. And the fact that this wide black marker is kind of it's weird because the tip is really nice, but when I go wide, yeah, you can see all the streaks to it, so it doesn't look the greatest. It doesn't help when I need to cover a lot of surface area with black with that piece, but whatever, it worked for this, so I'm glad it did. Now I'm using the thicker marker just to get right beside the lines to cover up the blacks. And it was a good thing too. I wanted to go with the Man Without Fear version because he's wearing a black suit, whereas the Kingpin that we all know, he wears a white suit, and I don't know if that would work really well with this piece. And with that weird, I don't know what it's called, but he has that purple turtleneck from the cartoon show. Could have done that, but no, no thanks. That's I did that version for the Marvel Masterpieces cards that I did last summer, so I was able to put that Kingpin on a card, so that was nice. Yeah, this is me going through my. I have a little drawer right beside my table where I have a whole bunch of markers and pencil crayons, so I'm just scrambling trying to find a black that has enough ink and doesn't look too streaky, and I can get through. Yeah, so I have a Copic that I found. I think that does a lot. At least I'm using Copics. That's the main part. And I'm pretty sure during this I had something on in the background. You see in the very top right corner is a little bit shadowy there. I think I had my iPad right there, so I was watching something. I don't remember what. Probably wrestling shows or watching a match or YouTube videos on some stuff. Who knows? And it's getting there. It's getting almost done. Finish up that first chin. Yeah, if you're a wrestling fan and do you see Bundy in there? Do you see the resemblance in that one? Let me know in the comments if you recognize Bundy in there. If I did him justice for what I was planning on doing. Just added some depth to the rose. Put another layer just to give it make it stand out a little bit more. And now, yeah, just adding some more browns for the shade for his suit. And so like, it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense that his lapel for his shirt or his collar for his shirt would be brown, but it works. Worked for this one. So here's a little, putting in some whites for his eyes, give it a little bit of shine, and then that is it. That is the final piece. It's all done. Added some pencil crayons just to kind of give it that depth around his head. If you enjoy this, I'll be doing a new piece over on my Facebook page, as I am leaving Patreon, so the DC superhero one will be on my Facebook, or supervillain, I'd say. The supervillain piece will actually be a Facebook exclusive, so you can check that out. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay notified. I do a new video every Wednesday and Friday. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend, guys.